Hi guys, today I just want to talk about YouTube from a musician's perspective. For a musician, YouTube is slightly different than it is for people in most other subject matters. Because it's a lot different than, let's say, if you were doing a podcast and you were just talking for 20 minutes to somebody else and you could just talk, have a short edit, and then the whole thing's wrapped up and you get on to the next podcast. Or let's say football, where you maybe talk about the manager or the new striker and who you feel should be sacked or whatever. Or boxing, where you talk about two different opponents and you can just talk and blah 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 for like 20 minutes, half an hour. And it's quite watchable for the audience and to go along with what you're saying. But music is extremely different than that, because in music, especially if you're teaching, your audience will all play musical instruments. Hence your audience will have a much more deeper critical eye. So straight away you have something slightly different. Also with music, of course, you have sound. The quality of the sound is extremely important. Good sound quality. Also you have notation and tablature. And so making a video becomes more complicated, becomes a lot more of a detailed process. I mean, really making a video is akin to mixing a record once you get to the editing. Because when I make a video, let's say the guitar playing takes 3 minutes, the actual editing might take 3 hours. Or let's say the guitar playing takes 1 minute and the talking takes 15 minutes of explanation. Now, out of that, 90% of that won't get used. Maybe 20 seconds of the guitar playing and about 2 to 3 minutes of the talking, or maybe 5 minutes maximum. Most of the stuff in the video doesn't even get used because it's the YouTube dilemma, really, which is video editing. And sometimes you might have an idea for a video and think, well, this is brilliant, this is an amazing idea, and you make the video and it's boring, it doesn't really work, or it's a lot more work than you thought it was going to be. So for instance, you might just talk about a chord, one chord, but then you might have to explain where that chord comes from, a certain scale or a mode from a certain scale, and what is that scale part of? Perhaps it's part of a diatonic relationship, and on it goes. And this is how YouTube sometimes works when you're doing this as a musician. What's seemingly simple or easy in a classroom becomes extremely complex when you actually try to put it into video. So for a musician, video editing and getting good at it is essential. But the most important thing I would say is the sound, because I speak to musicians quite a lot who want to do YouTube and they're always talking about better video quality. I use this one sometimes, this beautiful iPhone with cinematic quality. But when I use that, I get less views because it seems to be with teaching something like music, you need simple video, simple notation and tablature, and the basis of a lesson that gets straight to the point. And I think sometimes that when you have really expensive or really nice lighting, it can look very nice, but it can also distract from a lesson. In the same way, if you're in a classroom and they have disco lights on whilst someone's trying to teach you music theory, it's not really going to work because it distracts from the clarity of the teaching or of the lesson. You need basic light in a basic room in order to learn. And I think it's the same with video. The more you try and sort of tart it up, let's say, the more it can just distract or detract. Having said that, I prefer to use amazing quality video, which I'm going to do hopefully soon. But again, when you have amazing quality video, that means extra hours editing, extra hours uploading. And so as a musician, you have to make a workflow when you do YouTube. So you can say this video is going to take 10 minutes. This editing is going to take 3 hours. And even after that, one has to upload it and then put it on social networks like Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And in my case, I make a blog web page as well. And then you have the keywords and phrases that you need to use. And sometimes you just cannot take all of that in and come up with the best lines, because there's so much information within editing, coming up with these tags, these keywords, key lines, phrases, that you get overwhelmed with it all. In a sense, being on YouTube as a musician is a bit like writing a song, thinking, yes, this is excellent. You record it and it doesn't sound as good as you thought it was going to sound. So then you have to re-edit it or rewrite it and record parts again or all of it again. And then of course you come to the mix, which in YouTube's case is video editing. And if you don't get it right in the editing, then it just won't work. And some videos I've done, I've scrapped them because they just didn't really work, yet they seemed like excellent ideas when I thought of them. Lastly on this point is that when you do make videos, you're never going to be satisfied with them. Every time I make a video, I think this could be 100 times better. But there's a reason why you have to just keep putting material out there. In the same way as if you had a record deal and they said, look, you've got half a day to record the single and then it's going out. You just have to take that gamble and you have to do the half a day, make the single. It might not be as good as you wanted it to be. Then the record company puts it out there because you have to put out product. You have to put out content. This is essential. You have to put it out there to get something back. And YouTube is really like this. One more thing. What people don't really understand with YouTube is obviously you want subscribers. That's extremely important. But you're dealing underneath it with the hours. And you need the momentum and the consistency to get your hours up. Hence you need to be uploading content really on a daily basis. So as you can see, for a musician, this is a lot of work. Also, you have to take into consideration sound. So if you make a video, you need the voice, some compression on the voice, the guitar, reverb on the guitar. Then you have to cut and splice all of that, make a master of that, put it back into iMovie, cut and splice it all up again, then do the notation and the tablature, print that, put that back into iMovie, cut all of that up, and then you watch the video, and then you have to cut the video up again in order to arrange the parts. And sometimes that flows, sometimes you need a part down there that's got to go up here and this sort of thing, and it takes a lot of time. I mean, people look at my videos, I would imagine, and think that I do it extremely quickly, but it takes at least 3 hours to do one video. And it's nothing to do with music because, in a sense, music doesn't really come into it. It does in terms of the content, subject matter, but in terms of the actual content itself or the video, it's only 1%. 99% is video editing. Now, having said this, for the beginning YouTuber, the only way to do this or know or understand this is to learn it as you go along. That's the only way. When I started, I did watch some videos on algorithms and how to chase the algorithm and all of this sort of thing, but in real life, that doesn't really work when you're starting out. You just need to learn it as you go along. One of the most essential things, especially if you've made a record or you are a singer, songwriter, or you've made albums or singles or anything like that, is to make a video where you talk to your audience. I knew this guy a while ago. This is actually quite a long time ago, but he had this amazing record, a bit like Jeff Buckley. And I said to him, wow, this is amazing. And he said that nobody listens to his music. And I'm like, how can that be? But of course, I went to his YouTube channel, and that's all there was, just the records of the music. And I realised that he wasn't there making a relationship with his audience. I mean, even in the old days, if you had a record deal, you would go on national television and you would speak about your record, what you were doing, what it's about, when your tour's on, and this sort of thing. So people get to know who you are through this medium. And this is the key thing. You have to speak to your audience so that they know who you are, what your personality's like, so they make a connection with you. It doesn't have to be anything big, but it has to be something. This is essential if you've made a record, or a single or something. and you want people to listen to your music, you're not teaching, you want them to listen to your material, then you have to engage with them. Now, some musicians don't like doing this, but you could just talk about, this is the beginning of my new song and it's about this, and I'm quite excited, I'm going to record it soon, it's going to be released soon, and just make some interesting talking points about what you're doing and what you're interested in. And that way you connect with your audience and they will start to follow you. And that's one of the things that I've noticed on YouTube, is that a lot of people will just say, and not just YouTube actually, social media, you'll see it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, just some text on the side with, this is my new record, blah, blah, blah. And that's it, and a picture of the album cover. And that's not enough. You need to engage with your audience. One last point is this. You must ask people to subscribe to your channel, click the like button, smash that notification button, and write a comment in the comment section. But seriously, you need to ask them to subscribe. That's essential. Musicians, not all, but a lot, dislike doing this because they feel like they're asking for something. But you're not. You're giving something out for nothing. And if they click the like button, then they get lots of content. They get a consistent amount of content for free. And it gives the content maker, us, the inspiration and the energy to do it, to make the content. So it's okay, it's a fine thing. It's, and that's what the subscribe button is there for. So don't be afraid. That's extremely important, really important. And it will help you with your hours, because the more subscribers, your hours will start to go up and the algorithm will start to carry you and all of this sort of thing. So it's extremely important. Make original content. Now, if you want to do cover versions or whatever of anything and you don't mind the copyright infringement, but let's say you do a video and you get 100,000 watches, views, and that's great, and you get monetized, but then that material doesn't belong to you really. You might have a share of it, but it doesn't all belong to you. And this is what you have to take into consideration, because somewhere down the line, all of these videos that you make may well turn out to be sort of evergreen videos. You don't know. If you make original material, it's yours. That's it, it's yours, 100% yours. And once you start to make headway in YouTube, for me, this is the most important thing, because otherwise you're just giving it away. And I've done things, a John Coltrane, impressions and giant steps, 2 orchestrations, and I was demanded by YouTube to take them down, and I didn't take them down straight away, and then I got another notice to take them down, and a strict notice, as they would shut me down basically. So that was one. The other one I've had is for 2 backing tracks, 2 smooth jazz backing tracks. Now I don't know how that gets a copyright necessarily, but it did. And when you get that, it's demoralizing, because you put so much work into the video. Again, in video editing, it's really annoying when you put it up there and then it's not yours, and or you have to take it down. It's demoralizing, and you don't want to be doing that unless you're comfortable with that. I'm not. I dislike it immensely. If I copy somebody else's music, the money should go to them. I accept that, no problem. But I just want to do my own material. Okay, I might have drifted off in places in this video, but there's a lot to get through when you're dealing with YouTube. But this is just my take on being a musician at this point in time. Next week, YouTube might completely change and these points will perhaps be less valid. But from a musical perspective, these so far are the things that I've learned. As my channel has started to slightly grow, and thank all of you for subscribing, this is what I'm sort of finding and what I've learned so far. Anyway, if this video is of any use to you, then please smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, click the notification button, write a comment in the comment section, and I'll see you all in the next video. And thank you for watching.